Hello, people and bots. Grandpa Canuck here, and we're in Stationeers for another tutorial. This one is the basics of electrical systems. Now, as our example, we are here on Mars, on my base, and Mars is excellent for wind power. So the wind turbines here, there are two types of wind turbines. There's these larger ones, and there's this little one that you start with. After you upgrade your electronic printer with a mod, with the mod upgrade, you can make these larger ones, which are much more powerful and lead to good stability. In the beginning, you have this small one, which is almost useless unless there's a storm going on. Now, the other thing I've done here on Mars is I've put in my solar panels under glass. So in the beginning, you can only make these solar panels here, this type, and to protect them from the storms, so I don't have to keep repairing them, I have put them in a room. Now later I will transform this room into a hydroponics area. I've used high quality cable here, the heavy cable. The reason for that is the amount of power that you can get during storms. And you don't want to blow out your equipment, particularly early in the game. The solar panels can be adjusted at a 45-degree angle, and early on you may find it beneficial to point one towards the east to the rising sun and one to the west for the setting sun, maybe a third straight up and a third to the west before you have base batteries. You may find that to equalize out your electric load. Okay, so what we have here is the other equipment. A generator, where you can put the coal in here and send power to your system, is an early requirement, particularly on Mars. So it is all connected to my battery here. Here you can see I've got 4 out of 5. And the battery, of course, is the gathering and storage area. Once you can make one, until you can, you have to forego the battery and the transformer and put the power directly into your system, which I will start describing down below shortly. So, what you're aiming for is a system where you have your gathering electrical... That's Bonnie and Clyde. That's my two pet green-cheeked conures. They like getting in on the conversation, and something just spooked them. Don't know what it was. Might have been an outside birdie. Anyway, so you have all of your electrical that's gathering your electricity, and you have the 3 types available, the 2 wind turbines and the solar in the beginning. And then you run it to a battery, and then you want to limit your output from here. You don't want to burn your equipment out. Okay, so as you can see, there's nothing on the network between here and the next phase. Okay, and these heavy cables can carry an awful lot of juice. The small cables cannot. So let's just look that up. Here you can see the small cable, as I call them, the cable coil, can carry 5 kilowatts only. Okay? The heavy ones can carry 100 kilowatts. So that's the difference. You don't want to overload these cables. So where you have a lot of power or potential of power, you need to run the heavy cables. Let's go inside. Now I've divided the base up into separate circuits. Since you don't want to go over 5,000 watts, you can't run everything after a while. You cannot run everything on one circuit, and you need to divide up. And there's no right or wrong way to divide up your electrical power. One way is as correct as the next. So, here you can see the heavy cable that comes in. And I like running this on the roof. So this is kind of like a center main line where I could have all of the power from my battery. Okay, come down here. And then I divide it up. So here you go, 1, 2, 3, 4 different circuits. This one is the work area power control, and it comes down the wall, and it services all of this work area here. This one is the external power control, and it comes down and goes outside, and it powers everything. Now from here, I can actually read how much power there is altogether and from the individual units. This, of course, is using my network analyzer card. This one is the residential power area, so it's running this light, but it's really coming through and running all this area over here. And then this one is running my external airlock only. And this small area over here. And then I have a separate one for my trade. Now the trade can use a lot of power on your satellite. And what you want to do, the next phase of upgrade after you get something like this, is to add small transformers. So here you can see I have this one set to 4,500 watts because I don't want to go over that 5,000 limit and burn these wires out. The area controls provide some balance to it by putting in a large battery. My main battery could run out and the area is still powered. So, for instance, that is very useful in your airlock. You may be away from your base, you come back, and you realize that your main battery went dead. You haven't had any windstorms in a while, okay? And therefore, having a battery designated in a power supply to an area like your airlock could be very, very worthwhile. So there you have the basics. You have your outside power grid running to a battery, a transformer for the whole system. Then you come down, you divide your system off into different units, and you have a transformer that breaks it down for the small circuit. The other addition from here that I haven't put in is a lot of people like using fuses. And fuses to protect individual pieces of equipment, etc. Now, if I'm limiting myself to 4,500, at this point in time, until you get well advanced, you don't need the fuses. And the fuses come in various sizes. Let's just look those up. There we go, cable fuses. So you can install these in different sizes. They're made in the electro printer, and you can put them in line with any piece of equipment you want to protect, etc. So it's much easier to blow a fuse than it is to blow out a piece of expensive equipment. Also, you run the ability, blowing the fuse isn't going to start a fire. Mass electrical overload could start a fire. So these are all things you need to be prepared for with your electrical system. So to recap, outside, power generation, base battery, base transformer, and then you break it down. This could be outside, it doesn't have to be inside. You could break it down then into individual circuits. Some people like making a whole little room where this is all divided up. I like putting it on the ceiling of my work area. And then the individual areas are divided up so that each one is going to use under 5,000. That's 70 watts. And this one is off. I'm just going to turn it on. See, it's, well, it was 1.3 and it's settled down to 225. Depending on your satellite, this is usually the first one that gets large amounts of power. The outside one with all my filtration, atmospheric stuff, can get quite busy as well. The interior, the airlock, and the what I'm calling the residential area of my base. This is Grandpa Canuck. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial has been helpful. Please give me some feedback. Leave me some questions if you need to, and I can answer those for you. Thank you very much. All you people and bots, be good to one another. Take care. Bye-bye.